And now, the bonus chapter, chapter 27, never heard before. This chapter, we'll call it Heaven on Earth. I wish I was smarter. I wish I knew how to correctly describe to you the beauty of the Wraith Shangri-La and what that album did for us, what that time did for us, and most importantly, what it did for thousands and thousands of juggalos. We had been dropping the number 17 in song lyrics on our albums for years, countless times. Everybody, Juggalo ninjas everywhere, had been asking us pretty much from the start of our career until today what the number 17 meant. We started telling them that all the secrets of the Dark Carnival would be revealed on track number 17 on the Six Jokers card. Yeah, we hyped the shit out of track number 17, and nobody had a clue what the fuck we were talking about and what we were gonna say. I remember posting something on the net asking all juggalos to please consider using a good set of headphones for when they first listen to the Six Jokers card. Because headphones allow you to hear all the little sounds and little noises and everything that we had panned either all the way left or right. Headphones also cut out all outside sound. They are just easily the best way to listen to music. And this album meant so much to us, we had to at least ask the ninjas to please consider debuting the album with a pair of headphones. Mike P really brought brand new elements and energy to that album. To us, it was the perfect time to work with a new producer. We wanted the Six to be unlike anything we had ever done before, and we fucking love it. We are very fucking proud of what we did, and we're very proud of how it all worked out. Again, when the album came out, we did another massive in-store tour to promote it as hard as we possibly could. We needed to outdo the fresh mini maze thing we had built inside the record stores for the Jekyll Brothers in-store tour. This time, we brought an actual fun house. Just like when the fair comes to town and you go through the haunted house or the House of Wonders thing, where it's actually just the bed of a semi-truck constructed into a whole fucking adventure full of fresh shit for you to go through, like at the state fair or what the fuck ever. Well, we actually brought our own, only ours was a fun house, and when you got to the end of it, there was Shaggy and I sitting there ready to sign your shit. The whole outside of the funhouse was nothing but a beautifully wrapped billboard for the album, but inside we had the room of hanging bodies, the strobe light panic room. We had the Fago pit, which was full of empty 2 liters waist high. There were steps, tunnels, and slides. It was every bit as cool as the ones at the fair, only it was juggalo the fuck out. We had a DJ set up outside spinning for all the ninjas waiting in line, and we would be parked right outside of the record stores. The juggalos would go into the store, they'd get the sixth or whatever they wanted, and then they'd come out with a wristband and get in line. The fun house was a cool and fun way to do an in-store tour. Juggalos couldn't wait to go through that thing. Yes, it sucked, and it was sad seeing mad fat ninjas come up rolling over the last wall and falling down the slide. Plus, wheelchair-bound ninjas couldn't go through it either, and that sucked too. But we made sure we got everybody's shit signed no matter what. The thing I remember most about this in-store tour, the Shangri-La in-store tour, more than any other, was the incredible amount of emotion. The Six had just dropped. Track 17 revealed it all, and people were very, very emotional. The thing that was most trippy was how many juggalos brought their parents to meet us. Think about that though. These juggalos have probably been telling their parents all about the Joker cards for years. And then the Six drops, and we said what we said about the Dark Carnival actually being God this whole time. These parents came out to say thank you. It was fucking incredible. People were crying everywhere. Everywhere. I'll never forget all that fucking crying, man. Juggalos who had been counting down all the Joker cards for the past decade or longer were standing there with their parents together, all telling us thank you for the ride and thank you for the incredible ending. And the crying everywhere. It was ultra emotionally charged. A trip that honestly I never want to take again. In fact, that was the last in-store tour we did in years. We didn't do another one until the Missing Link Lost album came out in 2015. Straight up, we just couldn't fucking handle the emotion. We didn't feel responsible for what these ninjas were saying. Things like about how our music and message saved their life, helped them beat drugs, helped them find faith, how they were alone, and how they now have a Juggalo family thanks to us. Just imagine being told all this while they're showing you your album covers tattooed all over their bodies. How do you respond to that? Who could sit there and accept credit for that shit? Saving lives? The creator and the creator alone deserves all those props, not us. Sometimes, like when the person is shaking really hard and crying, it can be fucking very overwhelming for us. Thank God we're just a small-time underground rap group, not like a super fucking mega star fucking act, because there's just no way my brain can even handle this shit. Especially that Shangri-La tour. That shit was just really, really heavy. What do you do when a ninja looks you dead in the eyes? His own eyes are welling up, and he tells you about how his homie just passed away, and together, being juggalos was what they loved to do, and how they'd been juggalos forever. They went to 15 shows together. And then, after you tell him how sorry you are for his loss and you're feeling all fucked up and stale, the next thing you know, he steps away and the very next ninja behind him steps up and immediately starts explaining about how he was gone on meth for years, and when he first heard such and such, he found the inspiration to beat it, and now he's a big success, and so on and so on. He's telling you all this thanks to you. It's just not possible for me to sit there and hear story after story, giving us so much credit and love. I just feel fucking incredibly guilty, because I know the truth is I'm no more fucking special than anybody else in this line. Me and Joey are no more fucking special or magical than any other juggalo. We all, especially us, have the Dark Carnival, and only the Dark Carnival, to thank for all the freshness. Man, the days of Shangri-La were by far the best days of my life. Making that positive album and dropping it on the world, and yeah, we pissed off a lot of ninjas, but hopefully later in life, maybe they will see things differently and actually appreciate what we said on the 6th. But we felt like shining fucking superstars during this time. We just felt fucking incredible. For me personally, it was a combination of a few awesome things happening in my life all at the same time that probably made the Shangri-La era so incredibly fresh for me. First and foremost, we actually did it. We actually completed the Big 6th. That felt beyond amazing. It was something we'd worked on for about 15 years, and we finished it. Another great thing happening in my life was I had just broken it off for good with a girl I never told you about in Behind the Paint. I never mentioned her before, but we had a long but fucked up relationship that pretty much only existed when I was at home. Because on the road, I never had a girlfriend, and you know that. I'm 90% sure she saw it the same way when I was gone. We never openly talked about it, which is very strange, especially for the me of today. But yeah, we were both young and apart a lot, so you know, what can I say? But she kept things up for me at home, and I enjoyed taking good care of her. We had a strange understanding. I left her out of Behind the Paint because I considered her a private issue, plus she wanted to remain anonymous. She didn't want to be written about. But with her gone and out of my house now, That meant I could truly be fucking free as a free bird. I could meet a hottie at any moment and take her right home. No need for stale hotels and excuses. Take her right to my fucking house. It was a great time. Plus, I just lost all that weight. I was feeling amazing. Just fucking incredible, bursting with light. You can see it in the homies video. Our whole crew was just fucking on fire. Our whole crew was just at a point in life where everything was perfect. We would literally walk into a restaurant or bar or whatever, and we would light the room up. Listen, nothing attracts a woman more than confidence and positivity. Our entire fucking team felt like we just had won Olympic gold medals. We would walk into a place and people would just have to gravitate toward us. Even if we didn't have a stitch of band gear, people fucking would still ask. They'd come up and say, "Come on, who are you guys? I know you guys gotta be somebody special." We just flat out beamed freshness everywhere we went. It was like a holy roller when he first finds God. He's all happy and excited and feels untouchable. That's exactly how we felt during the days of Shangri-La, no lie. I remember we were in LA to film a commercial for the Shangri-La album, and we had heard about a local wrestling promotion running a show the following day, and they had a few big names on it. So we called them up and we asked them if we could wrestle on the show, and all fresh like, they said, "Absolutely, we would love to have you on the show." So we filmed the commercial, and that night we went out to a strip club. We walked up in that bitch gleaming. I slid up to the bar, ordered a drink, and took a walk around the place. I go around the back and damn! There goes Pamela Anderson. She was just sitting on a couch talking to some people. Now remember, I believed in myself at this moment and I was full of karma like never before, so I fucking walked right up and sat my ass down right next to her and said, "Hey Pamela, what's up? My name's Joe Bruce. I know Bob Ritchie pretty good." Bob Ritchie is Kid Rock. And then I continued. We both came up together on the local Detroit music scene. Gesturing towards the rest of my crew, I said, "We're the Insane Clown Posse." I was interested in what she would say. Did she even know who we were? I know she was married to Kid Rock or dating him or whatever for a long time, and she spent a lot of time with him here in Detroit, so maybe she knows he hates us possibly. Before she could respond, I asked her if they were getting married, because it was all in the press that they had gotten back together and now they were getting married again or some shit. She lifted her hand and showed me that there was no ring on it and explained, "I am not marrying him, we are not together." Then we started talking. Super surprising enough, she was mad fucking cool and we hit it off like crazy. I doubt she even remembers this at all, but I damn sure do. I'm telling you ninjas right now, that night in the back of that fucking titty bar in LA, I was laying down serious fucking pimp game and she was fucking having it. I remember how surprised I was that she didn't have any cock-blocking girlfriends or a ninja that she was with. I don't know what happened, but she told me her and Kid Rock were done and fuck what the news was talking about. I kept asking about her kids because I noticed when she'd talk about them, she'd get extra happy. Then she fucking super schooled me and told me that her sons loved wrestling. I was like, what? Do you know we are wrestlers? In fact, we have a wrestling show we're doing tomorrow. You guys should come up and see it. We were drinking and talking and drinking and talking, and actual hours were going by. Then, this is the part that sounds like a lie and the part nobody believes, but she suddenly asked me about where we were staying and what time the show was at tomorrow. Then she was like, "Fuck, what if you guys just come back to my house with me? It's in Malibu. I could make breakfast in the morning and the kids could meet you, and then couldn't we just all go to the matches together?" My dick popped up like a Pop-Tart. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I almost lost my cool, but then I fucking all freshly regained my balance and composure, and my game continued. I said, Hell yeah, that shit would be huge fun. Strictly thinking about how I'm gonna fucking tell the world if I fuck this bitch. I couldn't believe how good the night was going. I swear this woman, this superstar of sex and fucking pinup poster bitch was on my fucking nuts like wrinkles. Right then and there, staleness hit. All of a sudden, the fucking lead singer from the pop group, Sugar Ray, came walking up. And he started talking to us, and the craziest thing was, he actually seemed to know a lot about Psychopathic Records. He knew about Twisted, Anybody Killer, Blaze, and the rest. I remember thinking, holy shit, what does this guy know about us? And I remember him telling us that we need a hit. We just need a hit. He was telling me about how you can make more money off one hit than you can in an entire career in the underground. And I was telling him back, you have no idea what kind of numbers we do. You have no idea how big the underground is. He just kept snorting something right in front of me though. I don't know what the fuck it was, but he had no ifs about it. He would just fucking dab a little bit up on the top of his thumb and fucking snort that shit right in my face. And I was just like, Hollywood! I knew he was fucking high because he kept talking about how we needed to do a track with the Neptunes. I'm like, fucking ICP with the Neptunes. Then, all of a sudden, while we were all engulfed in a stale-ass conversation with this fucking idiot, I realized I was ignoring Pamela fucking Anderson. So I turned my back around on stale-ass Mark McGrath, but he was so adamant that he made his point, he wouldn't shut the fuck up. I kept trying to talk to Pamela, but this fucking idiot was all hopped up and all up in our shit. It felt like he was trying to belittle me and move in on the Baywatch beauty. The strip club was getting ready to close and it was last call. Pamela was like,
look, we're going to the after party. You guys are coming. We're going. Let's go.
But Mark McGrath was like, I'm going to the same one. I'll make sure they get there, no problem. Pam left and I looked her right in the face and I was like, I'll see you in a few minutes. And she was like, you better. And they walked out the door and we stayed, I don't know why, with Mark McGrath as he continued his stale-ass fucking babbling. Then Mark McGrath, still talking about Psychopathic going mainstream, dipped behind us somehow to grab his bag and he slipped his slimy ass out the back door and was gone. Yes, as confusing as all that sounds, that's exactly how it happened. That fucker probably wanted to fuck Pamela Anderson himself, or it's also possible Pamela had that fucker give us the slip on purpose. She never really liked me and asked him to ditch us. Who knows? It's so funny now looking back at it all though. We got the bone. I don't give a fuck. 3 hours of that bitch's life belonged to me because I was spitting serious, heavy fucking lethargically fucking massive game in her ear. And she was fucking eating it up like a fucking sausage steak. But it don't matter. The bottom line is we got the fucking bone in the end. I seen Pamela Anderson at the airport years later in Vegas, and I was gonna talk to her, but she was walking mad fast and she had no makeup on and she wasn't looking so good and really didn't look like she wanted to be bothered, so instead I hid from her behind a pole. The point of the story is, we are regular ninjas from Detroit, scrubs at that. Yes, we have come a long way at this point, but fucking a pinup star like Pamela Anderson would have been amazing. I would have wrote an entire book about the whole experience, even though it would have been a quickie. The other point was that we were shining so hard and feeling so great. Then the Shangri-La tour launches with special guests, the 2 Live Crew. We grew up on the 2 Live Crew, and they were crazy fun. Crazy fun. We went out every night, wild style. It was really a fucking fun time to be alive. That tour went everywhere. The stage was a lit up big game show with 6 big question marks surrounded by lights across the stage on a flashy wall. Every time we did a song from a Joker's card, this scary looking dead girl we named Vanna Fright would come walking out and she would turn the question mark over, revealing whatever Joker's card that song was from. I fucking love that stage set. You can see it on a DVD we put out called Bootlegged in LA. These days were full of celebration and good times, no doubt about it. Now, Joey has always been a drinker, but nothing too crazy. But while we were in the bus, I started to notice Joey was fucked up pretty much night after night. Once I really started paying attention, I saw that he was getting fucked up every single night. That bothered me. We've always had a rule at Psychopathic. No drinking before shows. It's an old ass rule and it's a good one. But while I was noticing Joey getting fucking plastered every single night, apparently I didn't even realize how bad the problem actually was. All of this, though, was hard to notice during such an epic time in our lives. Everybody just wanted to focus on the positive and keep it happy. Looking back on it all now, it's easy to see how nobody saw trouble brewing. When we got home from tour, I recorded a project that I put together with a lot of help from Mike P called The Wizard of the Hood. It's now a fucking straight up Juggalo classic, one of our most loved releases. I believe that record is so shiny because it was made at such a shiny time from some shiny ass people. People always say we should make a video for Wizard of the Hood, and I've always thought it was so fresh because the fucking video plays right in your head when you're hearing the music anyway. I don't think we need a video for that whole record. Another album we recorded during this time was Zug Island's album called Cracked Tiles. Hanging out with Mike P and his friend G-Man in the beginning days were mad fun. They were coming from a rock world as to we were coming from a rap world, it seemed like. But some of Mike P's music was very inspiring. I was really starting to enjoy singing. I felt like Eddie Vedder down there singing in Mike's basement with the live band. It was fun. Night after night when we were home, we'd just jam with the band and I'd get my singing on. It was fucking fun. I wanted the challenge of writing a rock album, so we started making rock songs. Mike P is just an incredible rock writer. As good as Mike Clark is at what he does, I believe when heavily focused, Mike P is just as good. About halfway through the recording of a full-on Violent J rock album, we straight up talked about it and chickened out. We started thinking Juggalos would hate it, and some would think we're going rock and roll and shit, and we were worried about all kinds of dumb shit, probably for no fucking reason. But even so, we started to get cold feet about the whole project. So Mike P and I gathered up a group of great musicians that he knew, and we put together a band to play and sing all of these great songs, and thus Zug Island was born. Our singer, G-Man, aka Sin, as we call him in the band, just went right over the lyrics I had sung and redid every last grunt and howl just like I had done. I finished writing all the lyrics and melodies, and Mike P wrote all the incredible music, and the band learned it all from there. The original real Zug Island is actually just myself and Mike P, two dudes making the music in the studio because we fucking loved it. Then we tried to turn all this fresh art that we had created into a live band and a dope album. I named the album Cracked Tiles. Of course, as I said much earlier in this book, when we were kids, they say if you step on a cracked tile, you have to kiss a Bruce brother. I thought that would make for a good album name after all these years. That's what I wanted to call the album when it was going to be my album. And now we have a new singer and a whole new band performing the songs, and we just figured, fuck it, we'll keep the album name anyway. I wrote all the lyrics to Zug's debut album, Cracked Tiles, and some believe that's a fucking great album. I do know that Sin, aka G-Man, whatever you call him, did a fucking fantastic job singing them fucking songs. And Mike P is just an amazing guitar player, and some of that fucking album is really, really good. I love The River. Check this out. always. I wrote this song about my brother.
You've always got me. You've always got me.
Just a lot of good shit. As for the second album that came out and the stuff that's come out since then, I just haven't gave it much a listen. We later fell out with Mike P over some legal issues when he left Psychopathic Records, and we stopped talking for a few years there. I was shocked and saddened to hear that he had sold his gold, iced out with diamonds hatchet charm that Psychopathic Records had given him as a gift for producing the Six Jokers card. What a hoe-ass move. When he did that, he didn't hurt us any. He only hoed himself, hoed the shit out of himself, putting his hatchet charm on eBay. What a foolish move. I know that as of today, 2016, G-Man and Mike P still occasionally record and release music together under the name Zug Island, and they also play The Gathering from time to time. There are a lot of juggalos who love some Zug Island, but they replaced the live band with DJ Clay spinning their music instead. Mike plays guitar live over the tracks and G-Man sings. It's not the original Zug Island, but then again, what is the original? Anyway, we got together and made peace back in 2014, and I even got back into the studio with Mike P and G-Man, and we wrote and recorded 2 or 3 brand new songs together the same way we did the original Zug Island stuff. We put those brand new songs on a collection with other Zug Island greats, sort of a best of collection, had it all remastered, and put the album out on Hatchet Gear. Unfortunately, the album didn't even sell enough to make any kind of chart, not even the fart chart. But then again, let's give them a break though. CDs just don't sell anymore. It's all about the download. When our record label, the people who loved us, Island Records, when they merged with Def Jam Records, and suddenly Def Jam took shit over and they were our new label, and they were straight up embarrassed to have us on their infamously historical hip-hop roster. I'm telling you right now, Def Jam is legendary. Suddenly, ICP was on Def Jam Records, and if you know who Leor Cohen is, he is one of the fucking founders of Def Jam Records. He started Def Jam Records in a fucking college dorm with Rick Rubin. Leor Cohen is legendary. One day, me and Joey were supposed to do a branch visit, which is when the band stops by the record company offices and says hi to all the employees and takes pictures with everybody. But we were like, fuck that, and we skipped out on it. And then Leor Cohen wanted to have a meeting with us. So he sat me and Joey down in his office, and he fucking looked at us, and he was like, do you know who the fuck I am? You don't fuck with me. Oh, you're from the street. You don't think I'm from the street? I'll show you street. You respect us. I remember being fucking lectured and being fucking yelled at and being fucking scared, and most of all, being entertained. Being schooled by Leor Cohen like that for fucking 20 minutes in his office on his leather fucking couch was one of the funnest experiences of my life. And the madder he got, the funnier it got. It was just incredible, man. Woo! If you know your history in rap, you know how powerful that man is. And boy, oh boy, he gave us an earful. And you know what? It went right out the other. So even though our last album had gone gold and our contract was soon to expire, they didn't even notice. We fucking hoped and hoped we wouldn't hear from them as the days approached, and the deadline finally came closer and closer and was ready to expire. They never called, and we were suddenly fucking absolutely free to walk right off the label, and that's exactly what we did. Our attorneys informed them that they never re-upped on the contract, and ICP is leaving to pursue other endeavors. Def Jam said, you know, we will take you to court and you know that we will win. And we were like, no, we will win. And to make a long story short, they took a chunk. You can't leave without leaving a piece behind. And we had to leave a little bit behind at Def Jam. In other words, they're still getting paid off us. But we were free. Those other endeavors turned out to be a new, smaller, but promising record company out of California called D3 Entertainment. They wanted that 6 Jokers card bad, and they advanced us a smooth $1 million bills in ones because they know how much we love titty bars. D3 Records were good people, but they made some bad investments and ended up folding up, and its owners walked away from the music world forever. The good news to that, my friends, is suddenly the Wraith Shangri-La belonged strictly to Psychopathic Records. I cannot tell you how fucking incredibly lucky we are to walk away from that company with the masters to the album we put out with them. It just doesn't work like that. But we were being shined on so hard, suddenly the Wraith Shangri-La belonged strictly to Psychopathic Records, even though we were paid $1 million crispy cheddar leafs. And ladies and gentlemen, thus marked the last and final time ICP ever released any music with any other record company besides our own Psychopathic Records. Feeling extra proud and confident in these bright and sunny days of the 6th, Alex decided he wanted to give Europe a serious try. His plan was to do in Europe exactly what we're doing here. Open up a smaller warehouse, hire a shipping and office staff, and fucking open up Psychopathic Europe. This shit could flop and cost us a lot of money. It was a crazy fucking endeavor. It could work out in our favor and we could grow our empire massively. Think about it. We didn't know shit about Europe though. My brother, the hardest worker I know, was the man the company felt best should go set everything up. Wow, imagine going to another country, not knowing how anything is done or how they do shit, and they drive on the wrong side of the fucking street. And on top of that, the US dollar is only worth something like 80 cents over there. Oh man, looking back on it, it truly was an impossible mission. But my brother Rob jumped steady. He took it all the way. He fucking got on a plane. He moved there alone to England. He rented a hotel until he found an apartment. Then he found a warehouse to rent. Then he ran ads and found employees. He interviewed juggalos. He hired juggalos and then ordered stock and set up a whole mail order delivery system. Once all that was done, the hardest part came: promote Europe. Rob and his team promoted their fucking asses off. It was insane to be known in the States and so unknown in Europe. But Rob and his crew threw juggalo parties and had juggalo events, but the funds, man, they just weren't adding up. Rob spent a full 14 months living in England, about 45 minutes outside of London. He was working his ass off, promoting in countries they don't even speak English. When we finally came through on tour and played Europe and England on the Shangri-La World Tour, I stayed in England. I stayed behind with Rob at his apartment, and I hung out in our European offices. I couldn't believe we had a building with employees in fucking England. I loved it in there. I had my fucking feet kicked up on the desk. I was smoking a blunt, and I was just watching ninjas type computers, ship shit, and it was fucking insane to see Psychopathic operating in fucking England. I loved it over there. I remember trying to find weed over there. People were acting like it was a fucking crack rock deal or something. And I remember trying to pick up chicks. No luck. But I felt bad for Rob, who was putting in all that crazy hard labor just like he always does. Fuck, man, that would have drove me nuts being stuck in a foreign country trying to blow up ICP. The funds, though, the funds just weren't adding up. Finally, we had to fucking close the doors of Psychopathic Europe. Like I said, the funds were stacking up, only in the wrong direction, that's for sure. All in all, we might have lost up to a smooth mill on that whole mission. You can't win them all. It still blows my mind, though, how far we took it, though. There is so much paperwork to be done and so much business required to set up a business overseas in another country. It's insane that we actually pulled it off for over a year. That is something we're still very proud of to this fucking day. Giving that a shot, trying that, giving it an attempt is fucking powerful in my eyes. Cause if you never try, you fucking die. The Shangri-La tour was really an amazing time. Joey's drinking had me heavily concerned, but there was just oodles of positivity all around us. I was extremely proud of the album, and we feel it represents exactly what we wanted to put out as the sixth. The album is exactly what we hoped it would be. It was a new day, though, and the internet was everywhere. CD sales were dropping like crazy. Record stores around the country were drying up and blowing away. We knew times were changing, and the industry that we had just spent years learning was now morphing into an almost entirely new business. But we were confident, though, and we were riding high. After recording and releasing the Wizard of the Hood EP and writing and releasing Behind the Paint, this very book, we seemed like we couldn't do no fucking wrong. The world was ours. After the Shangri-La tour had ended and we had a couple months to regroup and relaunch some new flavor, we set out on one of the coolest tours we had ever done up to that point, and possibly since that point. We called the tour the Wicked Wonka Tour. It was fucking awesome. We had Oompa Loompas in a moving fucking candy fucking factory. It was an insane stage set. Right from the start, our intention was to make the lineup huge. We contacted Steve Lobel and the band he manages, one of our all-time favorites, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and they were down. Amazing. Then we called up a guy named Tech Nine. About a year and a half earlier, we were doing a Dark Lotus in-store tour, and we came to Kansas City, and Mad Juggalos in line kept telling us, hey man, Tech Nine's out there, Tech Nine's out there. The only thing was, we had never heard of Tech Nine at that point. None of us had. Then, about halfway through the in-store, this guy walks in with a couple other dudes, and he's wearing all white from head to toe, and he's got some fresh-looking hair, and he walks past the line right up to us and introduced himself to each one of us. What's up, homie? Welcome to KC. I'm Tech Nine. What's up, man? Welcome to Kansas City. I'm Tech. Hey, what's up, man? I'm Tech Nine. I just wanted to say what's up and welcome. We didn't know who he was, but by the buzz around him, we knew he was a big shot in Kansas City anyway. After that, we started hearing more and more about Tech Nine in Juggalo circles everywhere, so we knew he had some good heat. So we invited him on the Wicked Wonka tour, and he signed up and joined. Next up, we asked our longtime Cali Juggalo brothers, the Cottonmouth Kings, to jump on this massive bill, and they jumped aboard the wagons as well, and we had a fucking fat ass lineup. The tour, again, incredible fun, incredible wildness and chaotic craziness. It was like a Juggalo festival tour. We even played a bunch of outdoor fucking amphitheaters. It was just fucking great. And Tech Nine was fucking killing it on stage. He's definitely an incredible talent. At the end of the show, we give a shout out to all the bands on the show. And of course, it's always up to them if they want to come back out and throw Fago for a fucking fizzy fucking finale. And it was always great when Bone Thugs and KMK and Tech Nine would come out and get live, getting all wet fucking Fago flying everywhere. everywhere. It was awesome, man. We got along with everybody great and had a fucking great time, and we knew Tech was taking off like a fucking bottle rocket. Every night he was turning it the fuck out, and now he runs and owns his own empire. Strange music, just like Psychopathic, set up independently, and Juggalos love the fuck out of Tech, and he's always been a good man to us, and we admire them. We had many fun nights on this tour all together, and I don't know why this comes to mind, but I'll never forget this one particular night of the tour. We actually experienced what it's like to be a mainstream superstar. Bone Thugs-n-Harmony had invited us to come and hang out with them after the show, and it was an early show in Minneapolis. I remember we played either an arena or a big-ass theater that night, and it was jam-packed and super live, just a really hot show. After the show, we tagged along with Bone, the Grammy-winning super fucking stars, and we went to this super fucking packed nightclub. You see, when you're multi-platinum multiple times and you have Grammy Awards, MTV Awards, American Music Awards, Billboard Awards, and all that shit, these clubs will actually pay you good money just to come to their club and drink for free all fucking night, just to be there. And that's how big Bone Thugs is. They actually get paid to come and hang out at clubs. And this had to be the fucking hottest club in town. The security surrounded all of us and walked us through the entire club, including right across the dance floor. The whole time people were screaming, "Bone! Bone! ICP! Bone!" I'm pretty sure the club security paraded us through the club like that just to show us all off. Then they sat us in the VIP, and it was fucking insanity. This VIP area had like a metal surrounding thing designed behind the couches to help create some privacy in the VIP. Well, while we were sitting in there chilling, there were chicks sticking their hands between the metal design trying to flag somebody down. I'm talking mobs of women all trying to get into that VIP, trying to get noticed by a celebrity, literally waving, knocking, screaming, stomping, you name it. And yet we're all sitting in there like a bunch of fucking pimps. This is exactly what the rap videos are like. Then at some point, we started taking pictures. We were taking pictures with professional football players, basketball players, local Minnesota celebrities were there. It was just straight up fun to experience that for a night. They even marched us through the whole club again. We all had our arms on the shoulders of whoever was in front of you, and we all moved through like a giant train. People are all cheering and screaming. Some are hating, of course, and the DJ's on the mic shouting everybody out. That life just ain't us. It's fucking crazy fun to experience every once in a great while, but it's just not us. We've never been paid, I don't think, to show up at a club and drink. It's crazy. Bone gets big money for that shit because they're a mainstream success. It probably could be like that for us some of the time if we really wanted it to be, but it's just not us to go walk into a nightclub and plop down in the fucking VIP. Fuck the VIP. Now, as if you haven't figured it out yet, what is us and what we do like to do and have for hundreds of years now, and many of you might not like to hear this, but the Psychopathic Records road tradition is to hit up titty bars, straight up strip clubs. We've done this for years and years and years now, son. We really ain't the type to like the big, flashy, expensive kind of titty bars either. Fuck a dress code titty bar. We like the little hole-in-the-wall dumps. That's the perfect place for us to sit around in the dark, have a few drinks, listen to the music, and not get hound dogged unless it's by a fucking hot stripper. And that's never stale. And we're not the type to be getting all kind of lap dances and all that shit either, unless we get mad, stupid drunk. But we do make it rain on whoever the first girl is that figures us out and dances on stage to ICP music. We all get up, walk over, and start hooking her up with endless falling dollar bills. That's our way of showing her some clown love for dancing to our shit. But then, when she tries it again, or another girl gets up and tries to dance to our shit and get paid doing the same thing, we ignore it. It only works once. That's our tradition. The first girl and the first girl only gets hooked up for dancing to ICP. The song is always either Let's Go All the Way, Homies, or of course, this.
I need my cherry pie.
I want you, lady. I want my cherry pie. I want you, lady. I need my cherry pie. I want you, lady. Give me my cherry pie. I want you, lady. My cherry pie.
Cherry pie. Yeah, that beat is just too danceable for a stripper. Then we tip the DJ and ask them to please play some Prince or Michael Jackson all night, cause we love that shit. The Titty Bar, aka the House of Scrubs. What's scrubbier than a titty bar? Not much. We've been to all of them in every town, 5 times each by now. We've seen all the scams, like when the girl asks you to buy her a drink and you're all dumb and you think you're getting her drunk, but she's really drinking water and your drink money is going in her purse because the bartender and everybody's all in on the hustle. Get that money. But if you can forget about all the scrubby scams going on and just enjoy your homies, the drinks, and the music, a good old titty bar can be a good old time. I remember one time during these shiny ass days, myself, along with the rude boy, my homie Isham, and Sabu, we all flew out to Puerto Rico to join Sabu for his weekend wrestling tour. We had a layover in Florida on the way, so we decided to spend the night there and check out a small local wrestling show that was happening in the Orlando area. So we all checked into our hotel and they said the wrestling show was right through the park across the street. So we started walking through this wooded park area and suddenly I see a juggalo, a ninja wearing face paint. I pointed him out. Check it out, a juggalo. Then Rudy pointed out another one just a couple seconds later. Look, there goes another one. The very next thing you know, we see another and another, and suddenly we realized, and this is an absolute true story, we had just walked into, by sheer coincidence, a mini gathering. Juggalos came out from everywhere, all surrounding us, and they were all like, "Oh man, we knew you guys would come, man. That's so fresh." We had no choice but to play it off. We started saying shit like, "You know we got you guys. Of course we're gonna come." It truly, truly blows my fucking mind that we happened to stumble across a mini gathering from out of nowhere. That is more than just coincidence, my friends. Finally, all the juggalos, about 100 or so, joined us at the small wrestling show, and we all sat up together on one side in the bleachers. We took up all the bleachers. All together, we decided on which guys we were gonna boo together and which guys we were gonna show love to. It was fucking great. Our huge crew ran the whole show. We were juggalos, so of course we were fucking louder than the rest of the entire weak crowd. We had mad fun screaming, and many funny and stupid chants came out, and we were all making shit up on the spot. Wow, man, what a blessing that night turned out to be. What a fucking blessing running into those ninjas like that. The next morning, we were up and on that flight bright and early. Puerto Rico was fucking beautiful. The women were stunning beyond all belief. On the first day we were there, we saw that blue ass fucking ocean, and fucking as soon as we checked in, we jumped right in that water. It felt so good. There were fucking palm trees and the water was like see-through. And then suddenly, thousands and thousands of people started coming out of nowhere and getting into the water. People came out of everywhere. Hotels, houses, apartments. They all got in the water. We started asking what the fuck was going on. And to our amazement, they explained to us that there is some type of Puerto Rican tradition where once every 2 years, everybody gets in the ocean together and they all dunk their heads in backwards. I'm pretty sure I remember them saying it was about good luck. But what blew our minds was this happened to happen just as we decided to swim in the ocean. Suddenly, we're dunking our heads with thousands of Puerto Rican people and getting blessed with good luck. It was fucking great. It really blew our minds that all this happened to happen just as we decided to get a little swim action on. Fucking fantastic. Sabu was chilling with his wrestling buddies, Chris Candido, rest in peace, his wife Sunny, and some other big, muscle-bound, steroid-infected ninja. I wanted to fuck Sunny bad. For you longtime wrestling fans, you know there was a time when Sunny was the hottest thing going in the WWE. She was Miss Pinup Star of her day. She had fucking calendars, videos, toys, you name it. Every wrestling fan across the world were all beating their meats to Sunny, including me. Problem was, this was a few years later, and this was a slightly different Sunny. She wasn't as sunny as she once was. She had fallen from grace due to drugs, I believe, and, well, bad decisions in general. She had a notorious reputation for always cheating on her husband, wrestler Chris Candido. I don't know if Chris was just blind to it, or fucking dumb, or what the shit was, but it went on for years. I wanted to fuck Sunny, even though she didn't really look that good anymore. She still was Sunny, and I wanted to carry a picture of her from when she was in the WWE in my wallet and be able to flip it out and be like, check this out, I fucked her. It turned out she really was a hoe too. Much to our surprise, we were all chilling on the beach, and she suddenly told Rudy and I that she had just finished fucking that big, muscular, steroid-infected ninja. Right now, right while we were all chilling on the beach, with Chris, her husband, right there swimming with us. Wow. Then I told her that I wanted to fuck her flat out, and she said, oh great, more trouble, whatever that meant. But thankfully, I never did fuck her, because what I saw next just really turned me off to the whole fucking idea. Sunny, Chris, Sabu, and the big, thick, muscular ninja, I don't know what his name was, probably Thick. They probably just call him Thick, Rick Thick or something. But they were all soma'd the fuck out. If you don't know what that means, it's when a stupid idiot takes a bunch of somas, which is a muscle relaxer, and he suddenly becomes super slow, retarded, and lethargic. So Isham, Rudy, and myself are now all watching these four fucking wrestlers try to barbecue hot dogs while they can barely fucking move. Why somebody would want to get comatose like that, I have no fucking idea. But there they are, stumbling, mumbling, incoherent bullshit that made no sense. The highlight of watching these fools was when an all somaed out Sunny was trying to take some hot dogs out of a bag and put them on the grill. She dropped one in the sand. Then she stared at it for about a minute or so, and then she slowly, wobbly picked it back up and put it right on the grill. That's a wrap for me, y'all. I had seen enough. We had to leave them all there on the beach, practically paralyzed. We said bye, and when we saw them the next day, they were all like, yeah, man, yesterday was a blast. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm sure you guys all felt really good when you fucking woke up with a fucking sandy hot dog hanging out of your mouth and your fucking pants off for some reason. I rented a big-ass limousine to take us all around the island to Sabu and Chris Candido's wrestling matches. That was fun, and we had a good time when they weren't blew the fuck out on some dumb fucking drugs. All in all, though, Puerto Rico was an awesome experience. The wrestling alone made it all worthwhile. Witnessing Carlos Colon, devastating. As for Chris Candido and his wife Sunny, here's an update. Years later, they had both gotten clean and were doing great. They were making appearances in TNA Wrestling, total nonstop action. But then, suddenly, Chris broke his leg, and he flew on a plane the very next day, which caused him to develop some type of blood clot, which unfortunately killed him. Sunny, I heard, returned to her old ways. She was actually inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2011, I believe, which is an impressive feat to say the least. But now I hear she runs a home porn request site. Give her the money and she'll do whatever you want, even make her Ned and whistle her old ring music. Awesome. Good for her. Yeah, these days were exciting and fun, and we all felt great, and we felt even greater when we took the Shangri-La tour back out again, this time all the way across to Australia. And little did we know it, but there are juggalos everywhere in Australia. It was a total and complete shock to us when we got there. It seemed like our faces were on the cover to every weekly we saw. It was fucking crazy. We were everywhere. We were getting recognized on the streets by juggalos everywhere. It really felt like it was a big fucking deal that we were there. We couldn't fucking believe it. It was totally different than when we went to Europe and couldn't even make a splash in a puddle. Here, we were fucking schooling it. First, we did press. Then, we went to do the first in-store. This store was a huge fucking mega store with walls of flashing neon and a huge Titan Trinitron fucking billboard screens with Joey and my picture all over it. It was fucking nuts. The store was in some area that looked just like Times Square. I'll never forget this. I don't remember where we were in Australia, but this was a fucking metropolis. We rode the escalator up into the store and the place went fucking nuts. There was this huge line of juggalos and they all started chanting "Family." But just like in England, it sounded kind of weird because of their accents, but they knew all the chants. Magic, magic, ninja, what? They were exactly like American juggalos, just as fresh, nothing different at all. Once again though, we couldn't use Faygo, so we had to fucking use Faco. We had to use some other cheap shit with no labels on them, just a 2-liter full of black fucking liquid. What the fuck ever, so what? The shows were fucking sold out and crazy fucking amazing. I'm telling you right now, playing live is just as good as sex. Those are my 2 favorite joys of my life. But playing for a full house of juggalos who love your shit and have loved it for years, but have never seen you live before is the greatest physical experience ever. Those juggalos knew all the shit. They were crazy and fucking wild. Australian people are fucking rugged and hands-on as it is. They will come up to you in a bar or something and put their fucking hand around the back of your neck and pull you in face to face and scream, "Let me buy you a beer, bloke!" Or they'll slap you on the back mad hard and ask for a photo. They don't give a fuck about getting physical. We got into 2 fights over there, 3 actually. Fight 1. I'm talking to this chick at the bar, and I've been kicking it with her for almost an hour now. Suddenly, some guy walks up and taps me on my shoulder mad hard 3 times and says, "You're talking to my girl and I've had it." Now, I'm like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to know this girl had a man? And where the fuck's this idiot been? I didn't know what to say, so I said, "Fuck you." And he said something back, but he was interrupted with a punch to the face. The freshest part about the story, I took the girl back to my hotel and we humped like wild gorillas. True story. So not only did he get punched in the face and dragged out of the club, but his girl got fucked that night by an American scrub named Joe. Hey! Fight 2. We're at another bar-type place, and our crew is shining so fucking hard that we're the center of attention. Everybody is looking and talking about us. Finally, we had enough and we turned to leave. Now we're out front of this place, and this cool-ass bouncer dude was giving us directions to another place when some kid walked up all hard-like and said something I didn't understand. His boy was with him, and he was kind of holding the guy back. I said, "What'd you say?" And his boy was like, "Forget it, man, he's just being a dick." So then I said, "No, let him go. If he's got something to say, let him say it to me." So he lets him go, and the guy walks up to me and says, "All I wanted to say is Australian hip-hop rules." And I said, "Okay, that's cool. You're not trying to offend me or anything, are you?" And he said, All I'm saying is, I don't care how you take it. So then I punched him in his face too. And his boy and the cool ass bouncer picked him up and took him back into the bar, and we left. I don't give a fuck what kind of hip hop you like, as long as you ain't trying to diss us. You feel what I'm saying? I could have served that kid a 2-piece and a biscuit all over his face, but instead, I just potatoed his ass. Fight 3. The cab takes us to an after-hours bar somewhere in a place called King's Crossing in Sydney, Australia. It don't even look like a bar or a club or whatever. It looks like a regular fucking house, only everything is painted bright neon colors. The porch is fucking green. The steps are yellow. The walls are blue and pink. Fucking crazy. I walked in and I'm standing in a living room, only it's converted into a club, and there's a DJ where the TV would normally be. I walk up the red steps to the second floor and there's another DJ spinning and people are everywhere chilling, dancing, smoking, drinking. Suddenly, I notice the strangest thing. I'm being followed and I know it. I test my theory by walking back down to the first floor and into the yellow and purple ass kitchen. I turn around and there he is again, a man. The farthest thing from a juggalo I've ever seen. He's wearing a trench coat and I have a sick feeling that he's naked underneath it. That's just my personal speculation because this guy is a straight up fucking creep. He appears to be by himself and he's smiling at me a lot. Now I'm tripping. So I go back upstairs and into the bathroom. As I'm pissing, I told myself, if that ninja is outside of this door when I open it, he's going down. I open the door all fast like they do in a horror movie when they're checking a closet or something, and fucking A, there he is. I shit you not. He's standing right there outside the bathroom door, just me and him super close in this little hallway. I had to do it. I grabbed him by his collar and I pummeled his face in with 3 quick blows. He just dropped like he fell asleep. Nobody saw a thing. I went back downstairs and got my homies together and we left that creepy place. Australia was really kind of a wild place, especially in that King's Crossing area. They really got some really crazy shit going on in them streets. They got crews of homeless kids all hooked on dope. I'm talking 12, 13 years old, hooked on heroin. They're everywhere. Homeless junkie kids. I couldn't fucking believe what I was seeing. There's nasty fucking brothels and titty bars. When you're sitting there watching chicks dance, suddenly transvestites come out and start dancing, mixed in with real women. I'll never forget this one time we were standing on the corner somewhere in King's Crossing, and a posse of about 8 homeless junkie kids all came running across the street from out of nowhere, fucking mad fast. The very last kid got hit hard by a fast-moving car. I saw the entire thing. The kid flew maybe 10 feet or more. The car stopped and the guy got out and started panicking. Then another guy was yelling at him for hitting the kid. Everybody was stunned. The kid was just laying there, still. Suddenly, like a fucking wild animal playing dead or something, the kid sprung back up to his feet like a fucking scarecrow and fucking bolted out of there 100 miles an hour, and he's gone. Nobody could believe it, especially the ninja driving. That kid had to be full of drugs, hard, heavy shit. I don't know how the fuck he got up and survived that blow that quick with no injury, but he was gone. I'll never believe what I saw that night. Another night in Australia, we were all standing there trying to wave down a cab, and I'm looking at this group of girls, and they're just standing there talking and laughing, and I'm checking them out, and suddenly, with my own 2 eyeball retinas, I see this ninja slowly creep up behind one of the girls and snatch her fucking purse, and he bolted with it. In between 2 buildings, and he was gone. The girls started screaming, but I was on him. Remember, These were the days of Shangri-La. All that running and training I had done had left me in the best physical shape of my life. So I was on this guy. I was steady talking shit to him the whole time I'm chasing him. We're going through this big ass park with bushes along next to this river, and I remember yelling, "I'm on your ass, bitch! I run for a living! Who's gonna give out first? You or me, bitch? Here I come!" Then, as he ran across the bridge, I noticed the purse wasn't in his hand anymore. So I stopped chasing him and I started walking back, slowly looking for the purse, and bang, there it was, hidden in a bush. The guy tried to hide it for later, but the girl got her purse back instead because of a ninja full of dark carnival karma. Me. She thanked me with a hug and everything, but I thought a shot of Nedden would have been a more appropriate show of gratitude, but whatever. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you the coolest thing about Australia. According to Maxim magazine, Australia is the easiest place to score a one-night stand. In other words, in their country, they probably look down on one-night stands, but not like they do here. It's more accepted over there. I know this for a fact because I scored some great netting 3 times over there. And the craziest part? Not one of them was a juggalette. These were all just girls I met going out to the bars after shows or on days off. And the craziest thing about them was how quickly they would be gone in the morning. I'm serious. I remember really liking this one girl, and I asked her to maybe take the day off from work and instead spend it with me and come see our show tonight and all that. And she was like, "Oh no, I can't do it." And she was like,
Oh no, I can't do that. It was nice meeting you though. I had a great time, I really did.
and I would be like, "Well, what about a number or something?" And she was just like,
What's the point? You live in America. Look, we had a great time together, that's it. You're a very nice man.
I fucking felt used. All 3 times I fucking landed some skins, they bounced out on me in the morning like, "Thanks for the fun, sorry gotta run." I'm trying to tell you though, we had a fucking amazing time in Australia. Touring is complicated over there because each city is so fucking far from the next that you have to fly to each show. We played 4 shows and sold out 4 shows. An awesome record company over there called Shock Records distributed the Wraith Shangri-La over there, and it did really good for us. After our trip, they sent me an awesome, big-sized, hardcover photo album thing that has all the covers and all the newspaper and magazine clippings are all in it from everything from our trip before and after Australia. I cherish that book. It's in my fucking fresh man cave style room, and I'll cherish it forever because it documents one of the greatest times of my life. I'll never forget the final show we did in Australia before we went home. We left the venue and they took us to our hotel. I was soaking wet with Faygo, and this fucking hotel was like a 5-star resort. Man, my room looked like the presidential suite or something. I'm dead serious. The promoter put us up fucking high class. I remember there was another American crew there, and it turned out it was Beyonce staying at the same fucking hotel. Imagine that. Just plaster, walls, and pipes, and maybe some wood between me and Beyonce's netting. That's it. If I could only run like a train and bust through those walls into whatever room she's in, I could lay nude with her and hump. What am I talking about? Anyway, she was in the fucking same hotel. That's how high class this place was. And here I am, soaking wet after the final show of the Shangri-La World Tour. It was over. We had done it. I thought about everything. I laid down on the plush carpet, soaking wet, and I took it all in. Completing the 6 Joker cards, how this really was the absolute final show, completing the Shangri-La World Tour. It was all over. We had done it. I thought it would be awesome if I died right now. Right at that second, I was completely and totally content with death. I fucking welcomed it because I felt like I had lived an amazing life and I was ready to fucking die. And thank God for all of it. Violent J from Insane Clown Posse was found dead in a hotel room in Australia after completing the final show of the Shangri-La World Tour. I thought that sounds perfect. This is how I want to die. I'm ready to die. I'm happy. I got no kids. I got no woman. I got a mom who loved me and is getting older. I'm ready to die. This is the perfect time. I laid there expecting my heart to slow down and stop. It slowed down, but it never stopped. Eventually, it felt like my clothes dried, but I was still alive. I remember sitting up after about 2 relaxing hours of deep thought on that carpet and saying to myself, well, I guess now's not the time. And it wasn't time for me to die. It was time for me to go home and begin the next album, which meant an official end to the Shangri-La era. The task at hand, the Hell's Pit album. The other half of the Six Jokers card. The half I don't like to talk about. When we got home and started that album, everything in my life changed. Some for the better and some for the worse. But when we originally released this book, Behind the Paint, it felt like we had truly crossed the finish line. We felt like it was basically all over, and now it was time to tell the whole story. We felt like the ending had come, but no. The one major thing I have learned, the biggest discovery I've made since releasing Behind the Paint over 12 years ago, is that our lives are far from over. So much incredible living has happened since this time. I'm writing another book to bring everybody up to date, of course, but that book honestly probably will not come out until the FBI lawsuit is finished. But please believe it and know it, the wagons continue to roll. When we began recording Hell's Pit, our lives completely changed and things began happening to us, which made us realize, even after accomplishing a goal or a dream, life continues, and all of that just becomes a memory, almost irrelevant, because it's always about looking forward and continuing on with living. And that's what we did. And fuck, did we live. We lived hard. We lived sadly. We lived through trauma. We lived through happiness. We lived through a lot. And I learned since this book came out, in the last 12 years, life goes on. The Dark Carnival and the Juggalo family are just as strong and powerful today as they have ever been. Thank you to the Holy Creator for bringing us all together. Thank you to the Holy Creator for all of this, everything. And thank you to you, especially for listening to me in my meaningless, incoherent babble for days and days and days. It's over. You heard it all. The Behind the Paint updated version was recorded all across the country, actually, during the Riddlebox 20th anniversary tour, 21st anniversary tour, actually. And it was recorded at the Lotus Pod in the year 2016. Life continues. Thank you to the Holy Creator for everything. And thank you to the Juggalos. I can't wait for the new book to come out to tell you about everything that's happened behind the scenes. A lot of Juggalos feel like they know it all, but there's so much that's happened that nobody knows a thing about, that we're saving all for the next book. We have children now. We've come a long way, but nothing changes. We're on another mission. 6 more Joker cards. The second deck. The wicked cards will never die!